It's unbelievable as a guy reading this. You said at the beginning of the conversation how like men would be incredulous, saying, "What? Did such a small amount of women get funding from venture capitalists, or they have to deal like we don't realize this." And this is what this book, what this book just shines a light on is that all of the shit that women deal with, even and you know the story I had. I used to Gretchen Carlson used to have a show on Fox like during the day during the weekdays, and I used to go on that show like once a month. So I got to know her pretty good. She was always like super capable, despite what SNL used to make fun of her. She was always fine and capable. Was a good interviewer, and she was very nice. And then she came out with her autobiography about her life, like making her way up through through the roles of journalism and a TV reporter in local markets, and all the shit she had to deal with to get to the level that she was at. And you just as a I guess you know this already because that's why you wrote the book, but most men just don't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's to me, there are two levels of stories here, right? There are the stories you've never heard of before, CEOs like Toyin Ajayi, who's transforming healthcare. And then there are the people you have heard of before, like Gwyneth Paltrow or Reese Witherspoon, I write about, or Whitney Wolfe Herd, the CEO of Bumble. And what my goal was there is to wow you and surprise you with the parts of their stories that you had no idea about. And this idea that Gwyneth Paltrow suffered from imposter syndrome, or she struggled with these dueling standards that we just talked about. I think that's the thing that I think men will be really surprised because they might think they know the story of Jen Hyman and Rent the Runway, right?
Right.
She's been on CNBC. You've heard her on TV before,
Right.
but these are the stories you haven't heard. And I think whether it's the data or the narratives, there are a lot of surprises in here. It's certainly things that surprised me.
And you actually mentioned when you talk about Gwyneth Paltrow imposter syndrome, that imposter syndrome really affects, significantly more women than men, which also, comes as a surprise to me because I suffer from imposter syndrome. I think everybody does, right?
A lot of people do suffer from imposter syndrome of all genders, but I think it's important to like break down what it is, how it works, how to overcome it, and also how prevalent it is in order to be able to move past it.
Fair enough.